17 minutes to 7 now, and the findings of what's being described as the world's largest study of ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome as it's known, have just been released. Researchers at Edinburgh University spoke to more than 17,000 sufferers. The results suggest women are more susceptible and that they're likely to suffer more symptoms. Those symptoms will be more severe as they get older. Well, Professor Chris Ponting from the University's Institute of Genetics and Cancer led the research team. Good morning to you, Professor Ponting.
Good morning, Laura.
And those are the sort of, I suppose, the main headlines. Give us a few more.
Well, this is a devastating disease. ME is something that has escaped the notice of many people across our society and in the health service. But in fact, 1 in 200 people have ME, and it's devastating. There is no known cause, no easy diagnostic test, no cure available. So we were very pleased to be able to do this extremely large study, which is to study the genetics of people with ME. But the interim results that we published today demonstrate how severe the illness is, particularly for women. Women are, there are 5 women to each man who has ME. But more than that, what wasn't known previously was that women experience more severe symptoms, and these get more severe as they go on. It is a clarion call, I think, today, a wake-up call for us across society and in the health service to improve the lives as best we can through research. So many people, hundreds of thousands of people across the land.
For a long period of time, those who have chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, have basically said that they've been questioned by practitioners. They have been told that it's, they're just tired. It's not a real illness. Is that why do you think so many of them came forward to help with the research?
People are desperate for good research into ME. They know themselves how ill they are, even if for some they're not able to convince. They are indeed. The response from the community, the ME community, has been extraordinary, with people in their thousands coming to our website at decodeme.org.uk and filling out the questionnaire. And then when asked to give back saliva DNA kits, in their thousands, and we need thousands more, because with more people we're able to better pinpoint what are the genetic factors that cause this devastating disease.
That's what I was just about to ask. Now you know how many people perhaps are impacted by it and the severity of their symptoms. Do we have any idea what causes it? We know there's been some parallels drawn to long COVID. Is that opening doors?
Well, it ought to. It should be kept in parallel, because these are 2 independent diseases currently. But do they have overlapping causes? They certainly have overlapping symptoms. We need strong evidence that comes from good science from both the ME side and the long COVID side. And I'm afraid to say the funds for research are almost completely lacking, despite the over 1 million people with long COVID and more than 250,000 people with ME who have been suffering for decades. And we would just ask everyone to look out for people with ME across the land, because it is a hidden disease and many people don't come forward. But for this study, they have been coming forward via the website in their thousands, for which we're extremely grateful.
Literally hidden, because people often can't leave the house because they're so tired and muscle illnesses, muscles so sore. This is the first part of your study. What happens next?
Well, we've taken receipt of the first few thousand DNA data. We have many more to come. We're going to, over the subsequent months, be analysing all of the data, comparing the DNA changes to people from the general population, to try and pinpoint how and why people with ME are diagnosed, and that, I think, will be the first step along the road to an effective therapy, which people do not have at the moment, and they're desperate for it.
Is it genetic? Does it run in families?
It is known that if you have ME, it's more likely that your first, second, and even third degree relatives are more likely to have ME. And that will also be something we will be studying. Yes, there will be a genetic component, and it is for us to try and find out what that is.
And in terms of the fact that a lot more women have this condition than men, is it linked to their hormones? Because a lot of the symptoms, brain fog, muscle tiredness, fatigue, similar to menopause.
Well, we will look at all possible hypotheses as to what causes the female bias. There are many female bias diseases, some of which are autoimmune, and so that's the interaction of people's immune system with their symptoms. And we will be looking at all of that and asking whether the genetics of ME overlap with the genetics of other diseases, just to see whether the treatments that have been already developed for these other diseases might be also appropriate for ME. And it may be that we will find that the treatments could be different between people with ME who are female and those who are male.
Chris, really interesting to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Professor Chris Ponting there from Edinburgh University's Institute of Genetics and Cancer.